Cornel West and RFK Jr. are already upsetting the brunch libs, who I affectionate the Democrats, but I affectionately call them the brunch libs. And it's obvious that they're upset because they're publishing all kinds of nonsense articles about how unserious Cornel West and RFK Jr. are. And, you know, I don't want to go too much into that because we talked a lot about it on our last show, but let me just show you this first clip here.
Candidates that many people didn't predict.
Well, meanwhile, analysts from 538 are pondering why RFK Jr. is polling at double digits. Let's hear some of that.
This polling example relates to the candidate.
So, first of all, I just want to tell you, I refer to these people as the smugnerant bunch. And just the reason that I'm showing this clip, for the record, is I just want you to hear these people. Just listen to these people talk.
Candidacy of Robert Francis Kennedy Jr. Last week, the New York Times published an article headlined, "Why Robert Kennedy Jr.'s 2024 bid is a headache for Biden." And the piece reads, quote, "Mr. Kennedy's support from Democrats, as high as 20% in some surveys, serves as a bracing reminder of left-leaning voters' healthy appetite for a Biden alternative, and as a glaring symbol of the president's weakness." They continue, "The place Mr. Kennedy might prove the biggest nuisance is New Hampshire, where the president has alienated core supporters by shuffling the Democratic presidential nominating calendar to put South Carolina's primary first, ahead of the grand."
So, as an aside here, you may or may not know this, but the Democratic Party, in order to prevent a primary challenge to Joe Biden, switched the primary contests around. They moved South Carolina up front. Why is that? Well, because South Carolina is a right-leaning Democratic state that they know that they can kind of rig for Biden with the help that they have there. Anyway, I'll let this guy keep going.
That state. New Hampshire Democrats worry that Mr. Biden may skip their primary, which is likely to come before the slot allocated to the state by the Democratic National Committee. They also worry that if Mr. Biden does participate, enough independent voters angry with him for trying to elevate South Carolina may cast a protest vote for Mr. Kennedy to deal the president an early but cosmetic primary defeat. Okay, Kaylee, is this write-up based on, polls as we've seen ourselves that show Biden in the 60s with RFK Jr. in the 20s in terms of percentage support? Is it a good or bad use of polling?
Oh my God. Like, you guys, I feel like, it's like, this is like violence. Sorry,
I feel like this is a bad use of polling. We're giving way too much credit here. A headache for Biden? I don't know. I feel like this is more like a hangnail than a headache. It's like, would it be great to have zero challengers?
Okay, I was almost accurate.
In the primary, and especially, someone with great name recognition not running, sure, but like this is not really a serious issue. I think there's certainly criticisms to be made of Biden's campaigning and what that could mean for the general, but I really don't think that there's significant reason to be concerned about the primary.
So these people live in a world where Joe Biden is fine, because they're fine. They don't, they're the who Max Blumenthal would call the lockdown left, the NATO left, as Nick Cruz would call them, the laptop left. They're rich, snotty, snobby, people who think that because they work at 538, their opinion on politics matters, and it really doesn't. I mean, these are the same people who called the 2016 election for Hillary Clinton because their heads were so far up their own assholes, and they couldn't smell the Trump people coming. All they could smell was the joys of Hillary Clinton.
At this point, there's always.
All right. What do you make of her framing of RFK as a hangnail more than a headache?
Seems more just like his candidacy is annoying to this set of people, the kind of elite pundit class on the Democratic side. So they want to
minimize it,
downplay it. I think they're annoyed actually with how much I can sense the annoyance kicking in at how much mainstream coverage he's generating, even coverage that is negative and that labels him a kook and an anti-vaxxer and it is designed to sabotage him, because you have to remember the number one operating principle now, has not always been the case, but now of sort of mainstream establishment media figures is to prevent conversations from happening. Because so even criticizing him relentlessly from their standpoint, they're starting to look askance at people even in their own tribe who are doing that, because they think that's the wrong tactic. They think the right tactic is silence, is to acknowledge that he exists. Pretend he doesn't exist. Who won New Hampshire? Not Biden? Then whatever. The state doesn't exist. There's 49 of them now.
Yeah, I heard
I think Robbie pretty much sums it up. But, and yeah, again, a couple things. First of all, yeah, they're annoyed because they're like, how dare you? Oh my God. How dare this person think that they can challenge Joe Biden, who we've worked tirelessly to get into place so he could do Republican stuff? I mean, first of all, none of these people can name anything Joe Biden's done that helped anyone. And so it's easy for them to sit there and go, oh, why wouldn't this is not a threat? Well, but the second part two of this conversation is it's really not. They're actually right, because there's not going to be a Democratic primary. They don't have to run one. They have a president, an incumbent president. So that's the thing I think about a lot. And someone asked this, what is RFK Jr.'s plan once the Democrats stomp him? Because it's coming. And I mean, it's funny to see the whole Marianne Williamson thing playing out, because to me, I'm going to start referring to her and RFK as the decoy primary. Okay. Because it is really like a decoy. It's like, hey, over here, look over here. Here's some guys, because with Marianne Williamson, I think that the Kyle and company thought that they were going to kind of just like go, hey, this is going to be great. We're going to have this kind of like progressive message, and we're going to eventually, everyone will kind of like rally around her, and we'll pretend to have a primary challenge. And then come, October or whatever, whenever the primary vote happens, we'll start telling everyone, hey, look, guys, like, it was a nice try, but you're going to have to vote for Biden now. He's the best option, because it's either that or Trump. And I don't think that's going to work this time. And so I think that someone like RFK Jr. has a little bit of power, in the sense that if the Democrats do stomp him, he could join up with Trump. And hear me out. A lot of people on the right like RFK Jr. I've heard a lot of my conservative friends like him. Now, he did come out the other day and say something about assault weapons, that he would sign an assault weapons ban. But that it was like one of those things where he said, I will sign an assault weapons ban if it gets to my desk. First of all, he has to become president. Second of all, he has to get an assault weapons ban to his desk. So it's hyperbole. It relies on a lot of other things, boxes to be checked before it's a thing. But one of my conservative friends texted me, he's like, he lose me here, he's gonna lose me here. And it's like, you know what? I'm not anti-gun, but I've said this before. We're the Plaxico Burress of the world. We're the dumb friggers shooting ourselves in the leg by accident. We could have more responsible laws around guns without taking away people's rights. That's my position. Anyway. So in addition to, these remnants of the Hillary Clinton campaign and the relics of the Obama era, these consultant class dudes trying desperately to cling to their relevance. Well, I don't watch Pod Save America. So basically what I'm going to do is just play this clip of Do Dissidents kind of breaking it down. Because I really like Keaton and Russ's commentary. And Russ's commentary after this. Yeah, anyway, I'll shut up. Let me just show you this.
If America guys are not worth covering, not worth paying attention to, which is why
Exactly.
we've never really gotten to take any digs at them. But given Cornel West's 6% showing in the first major poll since he entered the race, Jon Favreau, speechwriter for Barack Obama, and actually, very briefly, a speechwriter for the Hillary Clinton 2016 campaign. He quit in a number of weeks because it was too insufferable even for a shit-lived functionary like him.
Wow.
Yeah, because he and Obama worked very intimately hand in hand on the speeches. They would actually write them together and workshop them. And when he wrote Hillary's campaign launch speech, he got like 20 emails at once from all these different staffers. Cut this, add that. He's like, no, I can't. Fuck this. I'm out. So he was briefly on the campaign. But what's that?
He was great in Swingers.
Yeah. I swear to God, because there were so many ties with Obama and Hollywood, and he did hire a guy
maybe,
from
I forgot about
Harold
this.
and Kumar. Was that the name?
Exactly.
Yeah,
no,
when I first heard
Cal Penn from Harold
I
and Kumar.
assumed it
Thought it
that
was
John.
the Jon Favreau.
Of course, why not? Like
Why
that
not?
wasn't out of the realm of possibility with Obama.
No, and it's not that common a name. But here he is explaining the effectiveness of voter shaming, or well, actually, he doesn't explain it. He gets corrected by one of his co-hosts. But he spells it out here in a way that I think we should be very proud of and we should really embrace. And we should answer these people very, very simply. So here's Jon Favreau from Pod Save America on the prospect of third-party voting in 2024.
If the people who voted for Jill Stein, just Jill Stein, in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania had voted for Hillary instead, Donald Trump would have never become president.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I'm sure there's a lot of Cornel West fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
You live in a swing state,
right?
Vote for Cornel West, you're helping Trump become president.
Right, exactly. Sounds good.
You can say, oh, no, Biden's fault, he did this or that. No. It's your.
See, these people are so flippin' ignorant. They still live in a world where that scares us. I love it. I want Trump to become president again just because it makes people like this guy angry.
Your decision.
Yeah, no,
You
it is
get
our
to
decision.
decide
Do you promise?
whether you want to help Donald Trump become president or you don't.
Russell.
I would say I
If
do.
you want to help him, then
Yes.
you should vote for Cornel West.
Okay, good.
Or you should vote for Joe Manchin and his no labels ticket. Or you
Less
can vote
likely,
for,
but fine.
RFK Jr. if he decides.
Yeah,
to run.
Can I
Why
start
don't we
with
just
Dave
embrace
Chappelle?
Hey, okay.
You got to vote for
Cool.
Joe Biden.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's it.
Then
Very simple. Now, I think
same shit.
messaging
right.
to voters who might actually make this decision
Is the best
is probably a little different, I would say, because
they give away the game.
works.
Oh,
Double down.
That's
like I think
Zinger.
you need to
Sorry.
explain
Zinger.
why
I talked over it. I stepped on it. Listen.
a little different, I would say. Voters who might actually.
Yeah.
That's it.
Then
Very simple. Now, I think
same shit.
messaging
Right.
to voters who might actually make this decision is probably a little different, I would say, because
No, chastising
you?
works.
double down.
That's
Like,
like
I think
Zinger.
you need to explain
Zinger.
why these candidates would not be good candidates for president.
All right. Well, I'll stop you there. You don't have to explain to me why.
Yeah. Russell goes on to say, can you listen to the gall of these people? Listen to the this smugnorance of these people. And I mean, that just sums it up right there. But the reality is the fact that guys like that are going on podcasts and saying that is proof that RFK and Cornel are causing a ruckus, because no one wants to vote for Joe Biden. And the Democrats are not going to let anyone through. So I think Cornel West is the best option at this point. And I think that someone like RFK, I believe it was Johnny Graz on Twitter who said, what's RFK's plan for once the Democrats stomp him? Because it's coming. And I think if RFK's smart, he has a history where he did some work with Trump. He was, Trump was going to appoint him to be on some vaccine council or whatever. He could say, if the Democrats screw around, he could be Trump's VP and they would crush, because that brings in a lot of the liberals who don't like Biden, and really don't care about Trump one way or the other. But I think that's just a ticket that smashes, because RFK's talking about a lot of the stuff, that in a roundabout way, I think that him and Trump are talking about a lot of the same things as they're campaigning. And again, the animosity that people like John Favreau here and the people from 536 have towards Trump makes me like Trump a lot more. And the animosity that they have towards Cornel West and RFK Jr. shows you what they do for a living, which is shill for the party at all costs and try to run cover, not bring sense or sensible arguments, but run cover for stupid shit.